I came back into Nigeria in July of 2025. I had a reoccurrence of a malignant melanoma, and my parents, in finding treatment for me here in Nigeria, reached out to Dr. Benson, who organized oncologists to see me. And alternatively, he also recommended the system in addition to my conventional treatment of immunotherapy. Like I said, I had been diagnosed with a malignant melanoma that was found in 2019. It reoccurred in 2025, and I had been treating mostly side effects of the conventional treatment, which was immunotherapy. I had all the regular cancer side effects of weight loss, fatigue, inflammation in various parts of my body. I was also clinically depressed, alongside with hair loss and basically everything that happens when you're treating cancer. So in addition to my contemporary treatment, I also sought out alternative ways to deal with the side effects. And yeah, that's why I'm here. So I can't remember the exact day that I started the treatment, but it was sometime in October of last year, 2025. At some point, we stopped calculating in hours. I can tell you that I've spent north of 5 months here. So I usually come and do 24-hour circles 5 times a week mostly, so I'm not here on weekends. But for a long stretch, I started doing 2 times a week, then it increased to 3 times a week, then I started to stay full-on weeks for the last 3 months, I think. So yeah, north of 6 months. So one of the first things that I noticed coming to the EE Center was sleep. I had been suffering from chronic insomnia for about a year, with mostly everything that was happening in my life at the time. And one of the first things that I noticed was that I started to sleep better. I also had very high fatigue, and I noticed that with spending time in the EE system, I did have more of an energy boost. My appetite was also richer, so I could eat things that I couldn't eat before, or eat more frequently than I would usually eat. And then overall, long term, my mood started to feel lighter, and I started to engage with people more, and just having that holistic pull out of being, depressed and anxious, constantly anxious and constantly shaking, and all of the side effects or symptoms of anxiety that come with a chronic illness. So there were a lot of little things that happened at first that were actually very big deals for me. Like I said, sleep, eating, and then just general energy that you feel from day to day to actually do things. Like I said, before coming back to Nigeria, I had had a year of conventional treatment. So I had done immunotherapy, and I'd had localized radiotherapy as well. And so coming back to Nigeria, I did continue with the conventional treatment for a while, and then I stopped and solely did the alternative treatment of scalar energy. So far, there has been reduction in the tumor size, and I think it's generally a combination of a lot of things that attributed to that success. But generally, I would say I can definitely attribute most of my emotional and psychological well-being to the time that I've spent here at the Wellness Center. I would, again, specifically because of that psychological issue that is not very tangible when you're dealing with chronic illness. It takes a huge toll on your psychological welfare, on your mental welfare. And that stops you from healing, right? It stops your body from healing itself because your mind is not in a good place. And then it affects you physically, where you have your insomnia and you're not eating, and that all contributes to the illness being worse than it can actually be. But one thing that the Wellness Center helped with was creating that environment where I could just rest and not be bothered by life outside the walls of the Wellness Center. And then you have those changes where you can sleep and where you start to eat, and then your body actually starts to heal itself because you are providing it with an environment where it can do those things. You know, you are engaging in activities that allow your body to heal itself. So yes, I would recommend people with chronic illnesses to use this side by side your conventional treatment, just to deal with whatever symptoms, whatever side effects that you're dealing with, along with your conventional treatments. Yeah.